Welcome back, everyone, to the Rich Life Training Series powered by Gross University. Again, I'm your host, Dominic Caminata, CEO of Gross University, the industry-leading training and consulting group. So we're back here in the studio with our good friend and mentor, Dr. Injun Chong, who, as you know, is the CEO of Reveal Wellness and the founder of this amazing Rich Life program. In this next course, we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to Dr. Injun's heart, and that's what we define as postural alignment or chiropractic care, and why this is really important to optimize your physical and mental performance in life so you can grow and thrive and truly live a rich life. So I really can't wait to have this conversation with you, because I know you've dedicated a huge chunk of your life to this very modality of health and wellness and optimizing your vehicle that is the human body. So let's just start at the very basics. What exactly is chiropractic care, and why does it matter so much for the overall functionality of the body?
Well, like you said, 23 years of me investing time, energies, and resources into educating myself on how the body functions, and it's through this career of chiropractic. And the reason I chose it was because what I come to learn, and what I want you to understand and learn, it's truly about anatomy. Whether you believe in chiropractic or you believe in chiropractors, it's real. And this is the reason it's real. If the nervous system is regulated by your brain's a command center, the control center that organizes and regulates everything for you, and your spinal bones encase and protect that nervous system. If the integrity of that has been stressed because of spinal misalignments that we often induce, whether they're through trauma or bad postural habits or things that we continually do on a daily basis, we are compromising that nerve impulse from the brain to the organ system or cell in our body. And one really cool visual that I think everyone should have learned going through schooling is an exhibit called Body Worlds. And Body Worlds has been kind of displayed as almost an art form of the human body, and even animals too. I mean, what it does is basically where you use a specimen, a cadaver, and it pulls off layers of that body on one side, the other side's fully intact. So it shows the different layers of tissue, but it ultimately gets down to the spinal column and the spinal cord. So it basically shows the brain, the spinal cord, and all the nerves that exit out from the vertebrae out to our organ systems.
Yes.
And so when people say, I don't believe in chiropractic, they're really not understanding chiropractic is just about anatomy.
Yeah.
And if there's these vertebrae, these hard bones, there's a reason they're hard, is to protect your spinal cord, your lifeline, like Christopher Reeve, Superman, years ago, right? We heard about him. He broke his back. But what did that mean? Well, it severed the cord. So power was off. The breaker switch was off from that point down. So we had machines running and regulating them unconsciously, artificially, keeping him alive. So everything comes from a nerve impulse. And I always have patients say to me, like, I really don't believe in chiropractic. I said, do you believe in electricity? He said, yeah. So do you believe if you had a heart attack, that I should do these paddles on you to revive you? They said, well, hell yeah. I said, why would I do that then? If something's not electrical, why do you use something electrical on it? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It's time to listen up, closers. Before you go any further, you need to hear this. The Gross University Sales Academy Masterclass is not just another training opportunity. This is the most in-demand, highest-rating sales training program in the history of the home improvement industry. Thousands of sales warriors just like you have gone through this life-changing program taught by our world-class head sales trainer, Daniel Coombsbury, and they are winning more and bigger because of it. If you're serious about dominating in sales, this is where you go to sharpen your edge. The best part is, it's 100% virtual and happens on the second Monday of every month, so there are absolutely zero excuses not to invest in your growth and development. Why don't you go ahead and hit the link in the description to learn more and lock in your spot and get ready to ignite the greatness within. On behalf of Gross University, yes, you are a closer, and back to the video.
But no one's ever taught us to believe that way. So like we're talking about even all the other stuff, we're talking about energies and frequencies. You're hearing more about metaphysics. You're hearing about all this type of inspiration.
Yeah.
All of it. It's not energy. It's frequency. And that's what our nervous system has. Think about it this way. If I will use an analogy of a garden hose. I know it's a really old analogy. People tend to use it, but give me a good visual. If the spinal cord is encased by hard bone, and I cause a vertebrae in that chain to be misaligned, it's called subluxed. If we sublux that, we're minimizing that flow. That circuitry is being minimized like kinking a hose. So if I kink hose that's going to provide water to a flower, what happens to the flower over time?
It's going to choke it in
decaying.
Yeah.
So if that nerve impulse, that mental impulse, that energy is reduced over time, what's happening to that organ system?
Dying.
So it's slowly becoming deficient. It's not optimized. Deficiency, dis-ease, leading to disease.
Yeah.
Same thing with everything else that we're doing. So when we talk about posture stuff, not only just sitting, but even how we're walking, all these different running, all these different activities that we're doing, if the spine is being stressed in a way that it's not designed, you're going to have issues no matter what. And usually it turn on as check engine lights. We have a back pain. We have a neck pain. Those are just symptoms. They don't tell you what's really wrong because sometimes they're a compensation for something else in the chain. I mean, I've had patients come to see me years and years of doing this. They come in for a symptom and we find out that that was an effect of something else that they chose to ignore. Because kind of when the light starts to dim, they don't pay attention to it anymore. It's not a priority anymore. So they come to me after the fact, they tried everything else, and now they're saying, well, no, the problem's here, doctor. Well, that problem is there because the body compensates so you can keep on doing the stupid bullshit you're doing that got you in trouble in the first place. And that's not a good solution. Unfortunately, if we don't listen to the symptoms and get figured out what the true cause of the problem is, you'll never truly correct things. You'll just kick the can down the road. You know, I started my profession initially with professional athletes. I was in Arizona working the Diamondbacks, and I worked with a lot of pitchers. And that pitcher, they throw that fastball, there's a time on that fastball. If that nerve impulse isn't dialed in precisely, it reduces the speed of the pitch. And that was kind of fun for me because I was able to then really challenge the nervous system frequency, saying, this pitcher's throwing the ball at this certain speed. If I enhance that nerve integrity, that nerve impulse, they could actually respond a lot faster because that message can go to the muscle and the joints to perform at a higher pace. So I talk about not how you freaking feel, how are you functioning?
Yeah.
And that's what I always challenge him with is, I don't give a shit how you feel. I mean, I do, but I'm not gonna direct and guide what I do with you.
Yeah.
I want to say, how is your body functioning?
Yeah.
And that's really, truly, objectively helps me. Even back when I was taking x-rays of the spine, figuring out where the curvatures are in the spine were, because gravity is always compressing things. And there's curves in your spine to protect. It's almost like shocks on your car to protect your spinal cord. If that curve is reduced, you're actually choking off that lifeline, your spinal cord, from getting the messages out to every cell of your body. And now you're compromised. So not does it aesthetically look bad, it's actually cutting off your lifeline. You're going to function poorly.
Yeah, so I want to talk about two things that especially contribute to significant damage in these areas. One is the excessive sitting that people are naturally accustomed to.
Abnormal normals.
Yep. And then also, there's actually a phrase, I don't know if this is very commonly spoken about in chiropractic care, but it's literally called text neck.
Correct.
Text neck. Yep. So can you explain, like, because a lot of people think, oh, it's not a big deal if I put my head down, but what exactly is that doing to putting the pressure on their spine and throwing things off? So between the sitting and the looking down and, you know, all like the posture is just horrendous. What are the long-term repercussions of doing those things?
Well, it's compromising your lifeline, like we talked about earlier. The spinal cord exits the top of the neck, so it transitions from brain stem to spinal cord. And when we shift that head forward, think about this. Your head's the weight of a bowling ball.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go bowling, would it be easier to hold a bowling ball like this or like this?
Yeah, like this.
Correct, right? So it's virtually, and gravity's forcing it down. So we have that curve there as a shock absorber. More importantly, though, that spinal cord comes through there and it needs that length so it's not being stressed. If I flex it, now I'm stretching it, I'm pulling it, and now I'm tethering that cord, reducing the nerve impulse of the nerve energy to the rest of your body. And now we support those muscles of being shortened as that being the new normal for the posture. And now you get up and you stand, you walk that way because now you've shortened those muscles. They cannot lengthen to allow the joints to move and function correctly.
Well, here's what a lot of people don't understand, because they think, oh, the human head weighs like 8 to 10 pounds or whatever. But they don't realize it's a lot more than that. They're putting pressure on their neck and spine when their head's forward. Can you speak to that a little bit? Like how much actual pressure that's putting down on?
Yeah, every inch forward adds an additional 10 pounds.
Right. So it could be up to like 50, 60 pounds of pressure. Right.
People have the trap, the tension there. That's why. I mean, so we measure an x-ray what the curvature should be, and we measure that, and we can then share with the patient, we do our diagrams and the measurements here, saying how much more added stress we're putting on that body because of the displacement of the curve and the loss of the curvature.
Yeah.
And that's not even talking about then what organ system we're compromising, because everything comes about the chute from up here. So if we're already getting out of the gate, compressing or causing some issues, what's happening when we get down the rest of the body?
So I want everyone to Google something, and I don't know if this is being talked about a lot, but there's actually this thing from text neck where people are actually developing what appears to be like horns in the back of their head because of how they're throwing everything out of alignment. It's actually like the body is adapting to it, and it's growing like these artificial horns in the back of their neck and spine. So Google this, text neck horns, and see what you come up with. It's crazy.
Try some calcification.
But you look at, so go to an airport or go anywhere where people are congregating, look at them, just stop for a second and look. And what you're going to see is people like this. And you're going to be like, oh my God, that person is destroying their spine. They're throwing their entire body out of alignment. It causes damage. I mean, we're talking like it could be permanent damage if it's not addressed. So what are some things that people can incorporate into their daily, weekly, monthly routine to kind of combat the adverse effects of excessive sitting or texting? What are some advice you would give people to start getting the benefits of chiropractic care So this electrical being that we are is going to have the interstate highway flowing of energy and the off ramps functioning properly, so we don't have organs and limbs dying over time.
Are you ready to take control of your health and start living a rich life? Then it's time for us to talk. I'm Dr. Injun Chong, CEO and the founder of Reveal Wellness. It's been my life's dedication helping sales warriors, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and high achievers just like you optimize their performance in their personal and professional lives. If you're feeling stuck and burned out and you're ready to reignite your vitality, click the link in the description and connect with me directly. Because above anything else, you deserve to live a rich life, and I can help you get there. I'm looking forward to meeting with you, and back to the video.
I want to go back to what you're saying about this forward position flexing here. Yeah. It actually goes back to even the videos we talked about oxygen. When I go into a flex state, number one, as a salesperson, I don't appear very confident. I don't appear very vital. I don't appear very excited. When I go in that flex position, I'm compressing my lung fields. I'm reducing my air. Think about that. Just sitting up and breathing in, you can allow yourself to take in more oxygen. When you go to flex pitch, you're confining all that. Yeah. You're locking that in. So you're reducing your air. Like, why you want to choke yourself off? Because you're really trying to kill yourself at that point, right? Yeah. So we look at saying, how can we then combat that flex position that's restricting our air flow, restricting nerve flow, and it's leading to decay and death? It's going the opposite direction, going in extension. You can use it like a physio ball you can lay on to extend your body back to lengthen those muscles that have been shortened because of this posture. As you lengthen this, you open up the rib cage, allowing for your lungs to have full expansion so you can take in that full respiration, but also elongating the cord and giving the nourishment. Because every time you breathe, your body pumps something called cerebrospinal fluid from the base of your skull down to your tailbone, back and forth, and that's what bathes your nerves. But when you compress and kink that, you interrupt that flow, which interrupts that vitality, the ability for your body to function, because that nerve flow is being reduced.
So that off ramp is out of it's not in construction, right. Shut down. So right. you can't transport. Yeah. So it's absolutely phenomenal. Now you're a chiropractor. You've been in chiropractic for 23 years. So, but you are also somebody that is like, you get chiropractic care on a regular basis. How often are you getting adjustments?
Usually weekly, because I'm so active. I'm, doing weight training, I'm doing other things, but also I have some limiting things that are going on to cause previous damage in my body. So I have some vulnerable areas. I have 2 discs that are not very healthy. And so if I don't keep things moving correctly and efficiently, my body will go back into those patterns of pre-programmed stress. Then that will start to compound, where in fact, it was maybe a year ago where I had those discs act up on me, and I had to call you to come get me off the freaking floor, right? So if I don't do these things and invest in those things, then I'll go into positions where I'm allowing those vulnerable areas to come to the surface and put me in a debilitating state. And I was flat on the floor. I couldn't move. Yeah. But I knew better, but sometimes I don't do better, right? Just as you know, knowing doing gap. But if you don't do these things, you're going to compile and compound things as time goes. So that's why I get adjusted every week. Is that necessary for everybody? Probably not, unless they've had some pre-existing things or some damage or trauma. I've had broken bones. I've had a lot of different things that have done to my body and caused damage. So I have to be more proactive with my maintenance program as far as getting things checked. And sometimes I don't need all those areas aligned, but just getting it checked and make sure things are functioning and moving where they're supposed to. Because what happens if you move out of alignment, one area will then make up for the area that's misaligned. And over time, now it starts to compensate. So if I have misalignments or a vulnerable area that's maybe unstable, those other areas have to work harder. And then now as I compound that puts me in a position of vulnerability and injury.
It's funny. So as we're talking about this, I'm like,
we've been sitting here doing this for a while.
Like, am I breathing? Am I hunched over? Like, I'm thinking about,
the air is free.
It's something you don't think about a lot. So now I think a lot of people can relate to this. I've had great experiences with chiropractors. I've also had some that I didn't feel were really good at all. So if people are vetting out what you would deem to be a qualified or a really good chiropractor, like, is there certain ways someone can detect or certain questions they can ask to determine, okay, if this guy's worth a damn or not, or this girl, whoever's providing chiropractic care, is there a way to kind of vet out a good chiropractor? I was not here to bash any bad ones, but let's be honest, just like anything in life, there's good and bad people at this stuff.
Well, I don't say if there's good or bad. Some people fall into the trap of wanting just to treat symptoms.
Yeah.
And chiropractic care will do that. And I got out of that sandbox a long time ago because I had injuries and I wanted to make sure that I was truly correcting the functionality and really restoring the body's ability to function correctly, not just to pacify symptoms. So oftentimes people come in, they have a certain area of symptoms, like I was saying earlier, and you don't look at the whole system, figuring out what's dysfunctional. You're just going to continue pounding on the area that's painful, giving them some temporary relief. It's a good business model for a chiropractor, but it's not truly correcting you to give you the opportunity to change the dynamic and change your environment. I mean, if people come in for low back pain and I'll check and talk about their feet, they're like, why are you talking about my feet? Like, because that's the foundation. If your feet are misaligned and you're walking incorrectly, you're going to cause those muscles in your low back to work differently that will cause those misalignments to come back. So I can address your low back, but if I don't correct the foundation, now those problems are coming back. And so did I truly serve you? So to me, that comes the definition of, am I truly trying to restore complete functionality and looking at it from a holistic way of saying, how is everything functioning together, not individual compartments?
So that might be a good question to ask is, how are you going to help me solve this chronic issue that I have versus just providing temporary relief, And if you go into the chiropractor saying, I just want my back adjusted, and they only adjust your back without maybe taking a look into the overall vehicle and functionality of your legs, your feet, your neck, and all this stuff, that might be a red flag too, that they're not really addressing the true concern that you have. And that's what always impresses me about you is I'll come to you thinking that something's wrong with my shoulder or something's wrong with my knee, and you'll be like, actually, it's your ankle that's actually the root cause of this, or it's actually your neck, not your shoulder. And you'll address my neck and my shoulder pain will go away. It's like, how the hell did that happen? But this is why it's really important that you look at this. I mean, chiropractic care can be an absolute game changer, but there's also things people can do, like you were talking about on the medicine ball or whatever, or like a inversion table or something like that, where if you're sitting all day long, you got to figure out ways that you can combat the compounding effects of that, because you're going to be shutting off these flows of energy, these interstate highways of electricity, which can have major debilitating impacts on your ability to even move and function at the optimal level.
If you stay ahead of it, it's going to help you in the long run. Just like this Rich Life program, there's not one component, it's all of those things, right? So just because somebody like I used to think is that a person that's rich has a lot of money, well, I've come to believe something and learn something differently. That's why we put this program together. But talking about these other components that really determine and define what rich really is.
Yeah.
Same thing with health, what health really is. And first off, we have to start with a vital nervous system, and that's where chiropractic is a foundation, but it's not everything, because then fueling with the right amount of hydration, the right amount of food, the right kind of thinking, all these things come together. And that's why I come up with the 3 T's is how I gauge that if that person's adapting to their environment. Their thoughts, traumas, and toxins usually lead them to dysfunction, dis-ease, and disease.
Yeah.
And so if we can look at things a different way, we can really truly globally look at how that individual system is functioning so we know how to support them so they're optimized.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Well, I can tell you firsthand that getting this guy's hands on you is absolutely amazing. 22 years of experience is evident, and I've had some adjustments from you where I leave just feeling like I'm ready to take on the world. It's just like, you can almost feel the neurons firing back up again. It's like this electrical vehicle finally can operate, right?
Well, it's measurable, for sure. It's not a subjective thing. It's what we always say, the power's on. Because you have to look at your vertebrae as breaker switches in your electrical box. That's really what they are. And just making sure they're functioning correctly. But most people don't understand is they want to go into that chiropractic adjustment. We correct that one vertebrae and everything turns on for you. That doesn't necessarily work that way. Because we have a lot of connective tissue, muscles that tie into that have been shortened and have been stressed or been damaged, or scar tissue that oftentimes resists. And sometimes you feel worse before you feel better because you're working against all these things that have been misaligned for so long. Your body's like, what the hell are you doing? We've been working like this for how long? Now you're coming in and trying to change up our programming? But to free up that nervous system comes down that nerve impulse to get the correction, the proper movement of those segments of the spine. That's where it comes into saying before, you have to move.
Yeah.
Movement in motion is life.
Yeah.
And you can start off by just doing some basic stretching, breathing to start out that way. And then if you want to go into getting assessed spinally, I'm not trying to promote chiropractic here, but just making you aware that your nervous system runs and regulates everything. And so it's an added benefit. If you can get your spinal system, your spinal column checked and make your nervous system optimized, you're going to function much better too.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely great advice. And this is something I've always been highly impressed having Dr. Injun in my corner here as my chiropractor. And I wish I could get more adjustments. I admittedly need to do it more than I am right now, but I just got an adjustment recently. And he's like, when's the last time you got an adjustment? And I was like, since the last time you gave me an adjustment. It's because you're supposed to be rotten. I just, when you get an adjustment from the master, it's hard to settle for any average chiropractor. But yeah, so definitely do some research. Make sure that they're getting to actually the root of it, but be cognizant of what you're doing. Have good posture. Make sure you're breathing. Don't look down on your phone all day. Move throughout the day. Don't just be sitting there on your butt. We weren't designed to be sitting all day long and you're talking about gravity, that compression all day. You're going to have some of those discs in your spine out of alignment. You're going to have the breakers shut off, and you wouldn't believe, you may become accustomed to feeling and acting a certain way, but he was talking about not how you're feeling, how you're functioning, but you may surprise yourself how much more energy and focus and vibrancy you have when we turn those breakers back on. If you get stress, remove the stress too, So there's a lot of benefits here. Hopefully you found value in this, so definitely do some research on the subject, but I'm telling you right now that if you can take care of the alignment of your entire body and really open up those energy pathways so you can perform optimally, you're talking about the spinal fluid, I'm telling you, I mean, this could change your life. And a lot of the, aches and pains and conditions that you have, these debilitating things that are just, you talk about your back and stuff. I mean, we're all susceptible to this stuff, but get the care and guide and be proactive about it instead of reactive. That's really the name of the game with chiropractic care. So thank you for joining us on this module here on the Rich Life Training Series. Again, we hope this challenged a little bit on how you think about success, health, and fulfillment. So be sure to check out, of course, all the amazing content that Dr. Injun and myself are covering in this life-changing information. Just remember that you do deserve a rich life. And on behalf of Dr. Injun and the entire Grassi University team, yes, you are a closer.